And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, also as well, of course, Inside Sports, Fantasy Football. The guys from the Lakers Fast Break and Domination Sports Nation. It was a full house on our latest episode of ISFF, so please join us. We had a lot of fun there, much more so than on playback tonight. That's for damn sure. Please go ahead and check us out at Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Plus, also as well, go ahead and check out what we're doing at LakersBall.com. The guy that's drinking up above me now is Ox1947. He is at LakersBall.com. Plus, also, he has a company you need to support today, Simblades. Simblades with a Y.com. Of course, also as well, the guys at Lakerholics.com. You know, Jamie Sweet, well, he was here on the pregame, had some pearls of wisdom that the pearls were unfortunately not answered during the course of the game. And you can hear what he has to say in regards to that. Plus, Laker Tom still trying to provide a beacon of hope out there. Plus, also every crazy trade imaginable. For sure, he's working out every Draymond Green trade there is. That's the guy he wanted first and foremost on his list. And he's there at Lakerholics.com. Plus, our good friends Empire Jeff, who stopped by our playback channel tonight. Big shout out to him. Plus, also as well, Lakers in 5. Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Also as well, the Larry Lakers Dribbling Chit Chat. And of course, Lakers Corner. John McCalian channel as well. And speaking of supporting great channels, if you can, please, it would be immensely appreciated this holiday season if you go ahead and you like, subscribe, leave comments, whatever you can do to help support us. It is all greatly appreciated by us here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Well, the Lakers, after a brief one-game homestand and a miserable loss to the New York Knicks, head out on the road for a very dangerous road trip of 3 games between Chicago, Minnesota, and then Oklahoma City. 2 of the 3 teams at the upper echelon in the Western Conference right now. And the third team, who they're playing today in Chicago, an 11-17 team going into the game. But okay, they came off a nice win in Philadelphia. That's their nice win of the week. So that's going to be an easy game for us, or at least a game that we can go ahead and command and take advantage. But no, the Lakers, after getting a lead early, decided to squander it by the end of the first quarter, and it just kept going and rolling downhill as they were down by 18. They did try to make the fake comeback, and they were only down by 2 at one point, but the Lakers in the third quarter ran out of gas right around the time AD twisted an ankle and LeBron was put out at the same time. So without LeBron and AD, that's me for all the audio and audience out there, going down, 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 and watching the lead just get larger and larger and larger and larger. So finally, it was too much to overcome, and the fourth quarter didn't give us much salvation. And the Lakers, unfortunately, they lose 124-108 in a terrible performance in the second half. Whether you want to contribute to AD twisting his ankle, whether you want to contribute to poor coaching, offense, bad shots, turnovers. So there was a couple just absolutely mind-blowingly just inexcusable turnovers as well. Just LeBron threw it out of bounds because Darvin Ham didn't call a timeout fast enough, noticing AD getting hurt. And then AD himself just basically just decided to go ahead and start walking while not dribbling the ball. Yeah, just a couple of turnovers there that were really just summed up the game in a nutshell right there. And Lakers lose 124-108. And here today to go ahead and talk about today's game, first man up, first man here. Good man indeed. It is the former birthday man, a guy who everybody was showering birthday praise to. He is a respected member of the Lakers Fast Break coverage on Playback, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. It is the Magic Man, Sean Grice, the Magic Man. Great to have you here, my friend. They're turning 39 just before LeBron does. Unfortunately, he did not give you, and the Lakers did not give you a belated birthday gift as well, my friend.
Nope, came up short, Gerald. You know, Gerald, everybody drops the dime, but it just seems that, I mean, Ham's just fallen on top of them as well. Uh, this is the third loss in a row. This is another losing streak now the Lakers are on. It seems like the Lakers go on a winning streak and then seemingly skid off the road with the losing streak. Um, couple obvious things to note from losses. Usually in a loss now, Rui will average his requisite 14 to 18 minutes drilled. I think he averaged 15 tonight. Yeah, exactly 15. Terrible. He Ham when we saw that Gabe Vincent was coming back, I immediately felt a little
Small ball.
because yeah, he loves that three guard lineup. That is his hammer for every problem that looks like a nail, Gerald. Three guard lineup, three guard lineup. Twitchy wings, three guard lineup. Oh, there's backup centers in three guard lineup. It just seems that that is his only counter offensively. It's just to go back to a three guard lineup. And defensively, he's got one counter as well. Just go to his zone, either a 3-2 or a 1-2-2 slide, depending on what on Vando and Cam are out there. But it's so predictable, Gerald. It's like you know exactly what Darvin Ham is gonna have for dinner. Like that is how predictable his offenses are at this point. And the Bulls were just kind of waiting for that little run, Gerald. They saw it and then they went back feasting. That
Oh,
that
yeah.
that so the Lakers had a lead for all of a minute and 21 seconds tonight, Gerald. At 9:33 they were up. At 9:54 they were up 9-4. At 8:33 they were down 10-9 after Alex Caruso hit a three. That was the last time they ever led. And doing the math again, the minutes this year, the Lakers have trailed in 63% of the minutes they've played. And they played uphill for 47 and a half minutes tonight, Gerald.
But
Is
Rodell wants to see your arithmetic.
Yeah, I know. I know. I got to show my work. So, um, what it's a long time coming. Like Gerald, you were asking when that seat's gonna get really hot for him. Not
At
for
what point?
not for a while. He's comfortably sailing us into an iceberg. Like the perfect example that shows just how dim-witted and out to lunch this man is. AD falls over Colby White and twists his ankle badly. Badly. And he's walking towards the bench because he needs to sit down. And unbeknownst to LeBron James, who's bringing the ball up the court, LeBron passes the ball back and it's out of bounds. And what's Darvin Ham doing?
Hands in the pockets.
Hands in the pockets.
That's
Oh,
what we call them pockets.
you turn the ball over and AD's hurt. How about doing this? Because you're watching the game and you know your man's hurt and he's walking towards the bench. We were talking about this. That is not on LeBron and that is not on AD. That is a coaching issue.
If you and I could see it, if I
Yeah.
saw this from thousands of miles away, I saw him get hurt, coming off the screen. If I could
Gerald
see
said he's
him
hurt. He
in a
wasn't even on
split second,
camera.
yeah, going off camera, I saw him get hurt. If I can see that, how come the coach 20 feet away cannot see it, cannot recognize it, can't see him limping towards the bench and call a timeout? Instead, he's got to make LeBron look like a goof when in all actuality, it was him not making that call in the timeout. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then on top of that, let's just go ahead. Okay, AD, we got to sit you down. LeBron, don't worry. We're still going to get you your break. We're still going to get you your rep. We're just going to make sure we have no stars out there. And sure enough, the lead went from 6 to 13 for the Bulls in that span. And that was the game right there. But once again, it is the Lakers fast break. It is the Magic Man, Sean Grice, to me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching and listening. The Lakers do lose 124 to 108. But also here today, He's a good man indeed. It is the guy behind Oxline247 at LakersBall.com. Truly appreciate everyone out there. Big crowd tonight. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. It is Joe Soro. And Joe, before I bring you on, I want to bring a note that, immediately after the game, Zangerstein had prepared for us. And I'm going to quote it real quick. Small ball sucks. The coach is not stubborn. He is simply stupid. I have not seen a coach so intent on forcing his dream of creating a small ball lineup. All your guards are not athletic, and it will never work. He heavily reduced the minutes of his wings, Joe. Unless there's no guard left, the coach will make a way to form anything near his 3-guard lineup. And yes, Prince plays like a guard if it's not clear enough. He doesn't have a build to wing. He's not even good defensively, yet Ham will play the guards more than the wings this year. You can book it from Zangerstein. My friend, this team is in trouble. How much more or can we stand before actually Ham starts to get that seat a little warm, my friend?
Well, the seat might get hot in the next 8 games. The next 8 games, with the exception of Charlotte, is a pretty tight schedule in terms of talented basketball teams. And the Bulls are not necessarily a talented basketball team, and they look like a solid playoff team tonight against the Lakers. The Lakers also made the Spurs in their last meeting look like a playoff team. The Knicks looked like a solid playoff team. The same theory continues here in the last 3 games. And we were supposed to win these 3 games so that we can combat the next 3 games, which are going to be bona fide, deep running, possibly on a few, and then one for sure, playoff teams. So you got Minnesota, you have Oklahoma City, and you have, of course, Boston on Christmas. If the Lakers continue to play this way, they will lose the next 3 games, which will create a 6-game losing streak. And then at that point, we are facing the Hornets, which I'm assuming should be a win. And then after that, it's right back to Minnesota. And
who knows at this point, Joe?
Yes. There is going to be some heat should the Lakers lose the next 6 games. The problem is who? Who do they get if they are forced to fire Darvin Ham? I don't think I need to repeat what Zangerstein has said, or Sean at this point about Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham, minus his stubbornness, minus his inability to conduct any form of coherent system, is actually not as bad as his overall just presence. And I don't understand, and without any surprise, really, I noticed it the first time I heard him speak at the Lakers media day. There's a hilarious line in a movie called As Good as It Gets. Jack Nicholson plays an older gentleman who's got legitimate OCD. And he has a quote in there. He's upset that these 2 people are sitting in his seat at his favorite restaurant. And he goes, those who speak in metaphors ought to shampoo my crotch. People who talk in cliches, people who talk in metaphors, those who do that continuously are usually people that don't have a bright light in their head. They just continue to repeat the same regurgitated garbage that everybody else does. Byron Scott had that habit, and he was the last really, really hated coach of this team, which is sad because I really tried to separate the coach, Byron Scott, and the person who I loved growing up as the basketball player. And it's been long enough now to where I've kind of come to grips on the fact that Byron Scott was handed tank teams, and it's not really fair to hate him for that. But at the same time, he was really never a good coach in general. The coach on the Nets teams was really Jason Kidd at the time. And sorry, Byron Scott, I don't know if you hear this. This is some people that can coach and some people can't. And if you don't believe me about the cliche stuff, I want you to, if you have a chance to get the DVD, watch the 2002 DVD, championship DVD, and you'll see Byron Scott speak in that DVD, and you'll hear the cliche speech that drives me nuts. So with that, you also have to put some blame on the players. I'm sorry, folks. Players are playing, and they need actually most of the the blame here. You had D'Angelo Russell is starting to get to that point where he will not have any value at all in any situation. His value will only be positive if there's a disgruntled player that would come this way whom the Lakers could use. Right now, I don't see any disgruntled players in the NBA. I don't know if that changes between now and in mid-February, but if that does not happen, you are looking at D'Angelo Russell likely playing his last season with the Lakers and not being able to get anything for him at that point. Ruiz doesn't seem to be a player that will be played enough, and he might not be talented enough at the same time. It's just not something I think that in the long run is going to matter anyways, whether he's playing 30 minutes or 15 minutes. The Lakers are a pretty lazy team in general. They don't really play smart basketball for 48 minutes. Hell, I don't even know if they play it for 10 minutes. They live off LeBron and AD's talent, and Austin Reeves finally is kind of showing up after, the first month and a half of kind of struggling a little bit, but that's not enough, obviously. There's just not enough. There's just not enough in so many areas here. I could list 100 things, but really, you guys have seen the game. You know what it is. Bad coaching, bad energy, terrible role players, terrible shooting, and terrible defense overall. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen here between now and first week of January. If the Lakers go on a 6 or 7 or maybe even a 9-game losing streak, I really do believe that Darvin Ham is going to be in trouble. I just don't know who they're going to get because you can't finish the season off with Phil Handy.
Once again, it is the Lakers losing 124-108. It is Gerald Glassford along with Joe Soro and Magic Man Shangarais. Thanks so much for listening. The Lakers are now 15-13, ninth place. Let me say that again. Ninth place in the Western Conference. They've fallen, 5 spots in the past week, Magic Man? They were actually fourth place at one point in time, and unfortunately have just found a way against some pretty beatable teams to go ahead and find their way to ninth place. It's
2 weeks, Gerald. Yeah, 2 weeks you've gone from 4th to 9th.
It's absolutely amazing. The skill in which you do it against the teams in which you do it against. They should have won in Dallas because Dallas was playing off a back-to-back. They should have won both games in San Antonio. They should have won the game in New York. And they definitely should have beat a team they're clearly much better at, if you look at it on paper, again, that we don't play the games on paper, in Chicago. Now the games get tougher, Magic Man, because you go to the best home team in the NBA in Minnesota, and you go to a team that's second place in the Western Conference, Oklahoma City. So the schedule doesn't get any easier from this point forward, not to mention the Christmas Day game against Boston. So with all that said and done, my friend, the time is now, because by the end of this calendar year, we could be looking up at 500.
Yeah, Gerald, you could be looking up at 500, and Joe's right. I mean, there's really only 3 viable names out there, Gerald, that you could replace Darvin Ham with. As far as the schedule is concerned, yeah, the Heat could get revved up pretty quickly. Outside of that Charlotte game, every game is going to be on the blade of a knife as far as I'm concerned, because he is the inferior coach in every single matchup other than that one. And that's only because, Gerald, I would bet that Ham can get more out of the Lakers talent than Steve Clifford could get out of the Hornets. But that doesn't mean I think Steve Clifford isn't a better coach, Gerald, because I think he is. And that's a sad thing to say, but Clifford is very old school, and I think he could outcoach Darvin Ham. That's why you think that Charlotte Hornet game is sketchy, which is abhorrent to think about from a fan perspective, but that's where we are. That's
This is
why
where we are at this point. The
that
Lakers gave all their soul in that IST game, and ever since then, it's been as far as the effort and focus ever since.
oh yeah, it's been they've just had accidents all over the place after that. They
Maybe
haven't
Genie
left.
needs to offer them extra 500 grand every single time. Maybe their focus will be a little better
Could be. Could be.
because they don't get paid enough.
Oh yeah, of course not. No. Um but I mean Rui's getting 17 mil a year, Gerald. That's what he's averaging in minutes. So I guess
But then
this
again, Rui gets out there, and I'm going to say this on Rui's side: him going to the basket is an adventure. You see that there are flaws to Rui's game that you and I both saw. As we saw it tonight, twice to go to the basket was really an adventure for him. So he's not the
it
best.
always is with him and Vando. They have
Yeah,
no touch at the rim, either one
yeah.
of them.
So I mean, people keep talking about more Rui, more Rui, more Rui. Okay, Rui has to go ahead and play a little bit more consistently, but also play within himself because when he does try to go outside his game, we see flaws. We see what's there. We see the issues, and I would love to see Rui play better or Rui play more like the player we saw in the playoffs. That's
But
what we
Gerald,
said going into
that
this season, Magic Man.
yeah, absolutely. But that 5-man lineup they had on the floor with him was just awful. With
Yeah,
LeBron and AD off the floor, you had Gabe Vincent, Austin Reeves, Torian Prince, Rui Hashimura, and Cam Reddish.
yeah.
By the way, Gerald, when they were out there, that group got outscored 12-4.
I mean, with Cam, bless his heart. Obviously he's tried to rebound his career, and at one time, last month, we were talking about him leading the league in steals. It's completely turned around. Jeff said, people are starting to game plan against him and make him really someone that has to do a lot more with the ball, and that's right where he is not comfortable. He's not comfortable at all.
No, didn't he average his season average though? I thought he had 5 points tonight.
Yeah, that's great coming from your shooting guard. Absolutely, that's fantastic.
Yeah, well,
Watch
something,
out.
Gerald. I think it's that's a great point by Jeff. I think it's more. I think it's more of that at this point. Reddish's plateau, Gerald, and teams are fine with him plateauing, averaging 5 points. If he makes 4 or 5 threes in a game, that teams can live with that. You know,
I,
they're gonna live with that because they left Vando and Cam open all game, Gerald. When they were on the floor, it was 4-on-5 for Chicago.
well, with all rotation players, they have flaws. That's why they are rotation players and not stars, Magic Man. But as a coach, you've got to learn how to mitigate those flaws that you have in your system and provide a system that takes advantage of their strengths instead of showing out their weaknesses. And that's just something that irritates me that we don't have a coach that does that. No movement, no flow, no ball movement, no man movement, no pick and rolls, no nothing that I see. It's just an ISO, or a down low to AD covered by three guys. Joe, this offense, we talk about the defense at times being non-existent, and they're always seeming to hit the shots on the other end. Lately, especially since the IST game, seems like all these teams can't miss. But on the offensive end, it's really bad because the options are minimal at best at times, Joe.
The
Wait,
issue
wait.
is the issue is really when you don't have a coherent direction in terms of what your team is. The second your number one sit down, everything becomes flustered. Go
Don't
ahead, Sean.
insult me like that, Darren. No, don't insult me like that. Don't call me Trevor Lane or whatnot. Rui Hashimura, if you're not watching the game clearly enough, he gets the opportunity tonight and he's not getting it done. So don't tell me it's about more minutes for Rui, more minutes for Rui. When you see him inside and he can't get the shot, he gets the shot blocked twice. Don't tell me I have an issue. Don't tell me I sound like Trevor Lane. Don't insult me like that. Okay? Rui Hashimura, yes, if you want to go ahead and give him more minutes, but again, him going to the basket is an adventure. You know it, and I know it. Okay? He has his flaws in his game. If he goes ahead and shoots well from the outside, he's a great asset. But when he's not shooting well from the outside, what do you have as a player for Rui Hashimura? There's a reason why they got rid of him in Washington. Understand that, Darren. So please don't insult me by trying to say compare me to Trevor Lane. Don't insult me like that again, please. I ask you nicely and I ask you respectfully. Go ahead, Joe. My apologies.
Sean, did you want to say something? You look like you're ready to pop.
Well, I was mad. Don't Darren said
I know
something.
you were mad. I was
Yeah.
letting you vent. But
So I'm sorry.
Sean was at the pop a little bit on a comment, so I want to hear it.
All right, yeah. So, like, it's almost a defeated attitude he's got, Gerald. If his game plan isn't working, that's what pisses me off more than anything, Gerald. More than anything, if you watched the 2019 NBA Finals, Nick Nurse outcoached Steve Kerr. Regardless of what the talent disparity was at the time with KD and Clay going down, Gerald, you're not going to make I'm saying you as in
I don't
anybody
hate
else.
Rui. I don't hate Rui at all.
Hold on.
No, I mean, no, Darren says Trevor hates Rui. I don't hate Rui.
Trevor
Rui was a
Lane,
great,
yeah, he's got a bias against Rui. He does.
yeah,
But
but I don't
Gerald
have a
does
bias
not.
against Rui. He's just inconsistent. There's a reason why Washington traded him was
But I
because he
think
was
it. I think
inconsistent.
so. Two things. He's willing to lose games based on his game planning, Gerald. That's what's frustrating. At when Nick Nurse was in the boiling pot, he was willing to try a box and one, Gerald. Even though you and Joe and I'm sure Z and a lot of others had a laugh at it. We all did in Toronto as well when we first saw it, but it worked. It worked. He tried something. He tried something different outside of the box, outside of his own game planning. And Nurse said as much. He said, I learned that game planning means absolutely zip in the fourth quarter. That's what he said. It means absolutely zip because it's a brand new game. And that's what I'm mad about. Joe was right. I'm like, there's a vein, the top of my forehead, ready to go because he's willing to drive us into an iceberg just for his own ego. Because he is not willing to admit that he is an inferior coach and that he doesn't think 3 or 4 steps ahead. Maybe I should run a scram. Maybe we should run a 1-2-2. Maybe instead of a zone, I need a hybrid 4-1. Something. Nope, it's always the same. This guy's only tool on his tool belt is a hammer because every problem is a nail. Oh, they're running a zone? Okay, we'll go 3 guard out. Oh, they're running too big? We'll go 3 guard out. Oh, their backup centers in? We'll go 3 guard out. Any problem on defense? Zone. Just default to zone. It's pathetic. And it's the same loop over and over again. I feel like I'm at the Finkel house, Gerald, watching that tape go over and over again about Ham screwing up a game.
I will say this though, Magic Man, as Arthur Johnson, appreciate the super chat saying must we always shoot threes? We are bigger, go inside. We got to try something. Got to try something. The thing is though, with Rui trying to do stuff off the dribble, Joe, that's not his game. his game is not driving to the basket, because you see that it's always an adventure when he does that. If you get him clean looks, he can hit for you. The problem is tonight, you've got him, you've got Vando, you've got a lot of guys that are not hitting their shots. And you always talk about the guys not hitting shots. Tonight is the same thing. Guys not hitting shots. Didn't give that many offensive rebounds. That wasn't the issue tonight. It was more of guys just not hitting shots, and the other team, they got hot from three.
And they got hot from this particular Bulls team got hot at a time when you probably should have had a nice lead. You kept getting close. You were down 2 with the ball in the third quarter and were an open 3 away from taking a 1-point lead. And that seems to be the MO for the 2023-2024 Lakers, is that they're just there. And then as soon as they get there, they falter. And what you have with Darvin Ham from the visuals is the reason why he's doing what he's doing is because he's frustrated that he has terrible players. Somebody like D'Angelo Russell that just doesn't do what he's supposed to do. You have somebody like Jared Vanderbilt who's actually gotten worse since the summer. Christian Wood, whom they courted like a girlfriend that they really wanted to hang out with, played 1 minute tonight and got 1 block and 1 turnover in 1 minute. Your mid-level exception player scored 3 points in 14 minutes. You're not going to win games when players that are supposed to make a difference on this team are not putting in the work. You're watching the Bulls.
Joe, let me ask you a question. Do you think that Rob Pelinka and Darvin Ham coordinated this roster together?
I don't think it matters if they did or not.
That's not what I asked.
No.
Okay, so you think that Ham doesn't have the roster that he wants?
I think short of 5 stars in the starting lineup, I don't think Darvin Ham would know what to do.
Well, he went 18. He went 18-7 for a reason, and the same group that was there is still there. Sans Lonnie Walker and Dennis.
Maybe
so you
not.
Pretty much got the same ingredients. It's just you made a shit pie.
Well, just like
my shit.
Just like
my shit, Darvin.
Anything, just like anything else, your opponent is going to start figuring you out. He's going to figure out after a while how to get at your strengths. And if you don't adjust from the adjustment, you're going to start faltering. You're on your own. Vanderbilt looks like he might not be healthy either. I think he's playing hurt. And the fact that
AD got hurt again too.
AD's ankles seem to be turning like my ankles were turning about a decade ago. Every time I go down a step, if I hit a rock, a pebble rock, my ankle would buckle under me. After a while, I had to teach myself how to walk. Anytime there's a curb, I purposely put a lot of weight on my foot to make sure it doesn't turn. But one thing that's different about AD this year is that AD plays through the pain now. He knows what's going on around him. You know, he doesn't want to be that guy that's continuously sitting down. That and the fact that the Lakers can't afford to have him or LeBron sit. Otherwise, you think these runs are bad. The Lakers would be losing by 20 and 30 points every game. But the Darvin Ham, Rob Pelinka era of basketball at this point is an unmitigated disaster. And a lot of it is due to the fact that D'Angelo Russell is an absolute just derailment of basketball for this team. Prince is who he is. He comes in sometimes well, sometimes he doesn't. I'm not going to put too much on that. Cam Reddish, in a lot of ways, is overachieved this year, so I'm not going to get him. I'm not going to get in on that with him. Rui Hachimura has been a disappointment this year. Vanderbilt signed an extension and got worse. Usually it's the other way around, especially for a young player. And then, of course, Gabe Vincent is the probably the worst signing with the MLE since Radmanovich in my book, in terms of what we were expecting to get and what we ended up getting now. Radmanovich, for those of you who were too young to remember, cool bro, Radmanovich, in my opinion, was a big part on why the Lakers didn't win in 2008. Had they had a competent player at that position, I believe the Lakers might have ended up beating the Celtics in 08, but that's my opinion on that one. So the future for the Lakers at this point is going to be within the next week and a half to 2 weeks. We're going to find out if they falter in a way where they give up. Should they give up, look, the way they've given up the last couple games for about a week or two, that's when that seat will be hot. And then someone had mentioned Terry Stotts. I had forgotten about Terry Stotts.
After he parted the ways in Milwaukee.
So
No, Portland, Gerald.
as an
No,
assistant
remember
coach,
he was an assistant coach at Milwaukee, but then he had that
then
issue
he left.
with
Yeah.
So it
Adrian
seems that
Griffin,
Terry
that's
Stotts
right.
has a reputation of holding people accountable, and that seems to be a problem in a lot of ways to certain players, maybe even certain coaches.
Hey, look, Terry Stotts and or Kenny Atkinson would be an upgrade offensively to Darvin Ham.
Well, Terry Stotts,
There's no debate about that.
If there's one positive about Terry Stotts, and something that I know for a fact, just from observing his coaching and knowing who he is, Terry Stotts designs the system to put the players in. What did I say before? He designs the system to put players in a position to succeed. Now that seems pretty basic, but that's actually pretty good fundamentals. You want to put people's skills at the best in the best positions possible. The negatives with Terry Stott is he does stick to his guns sometimes when some think he shouldn't.
And
However,
he needs a very good defensive assistant.
well, I would say
He ran the offense for Rick Carlisle, but he needed Dwayne Casey to run the defense.
I'd say we're better off relying on AD, Reddish, and let's say Vanderbilt when he's not injured to at least play some defense and play it well consistently, because we do get that when they're playing, and then let Terry Stotts handle the offense. But it's probably not going to solve any issues, even if that was to happen. And I don't know necessarily if that's going to happen, but the Lakers have bigger problems than what they have right now.
Ham's a symptom of what is the problem with this team. He's not the cause of it.
He's the problem right now is the Lakers are stuck in purgatory, even if they make moves, and especially after the season ends. It doesn't look like they're going to go and win a championship. They could make a run, maybe win a first round series, whatever, but I just don't see them winning 4 series in a row for a championship with this kind of team. They don't have enough shooters that are shooting consistently. These guys seem to get down on themselves. Darvin Ham seems to get down on themselves, and he's given enough information for us to assess how his mindset is, which is using excuses like the tournament is a bad sign. I would have fired Darvin Ham if he worked for me probably after that comment.
Okay, well,
that's first of all, I would have never hired Darvin Ham. I would have been able to sniff out his BS pretty much within the first 5 minutes of talking to him. If I was to do the hiring last year, or the year before, I would have looked for someone who at least has somewhat of some coherent ideas on how to run a basketball team. It doesn't mean they're gonna succeed. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but at least I can go into it saying, look, we got this particular coach who everyone respects, and someone who's got maybe some. Let's say I'm going to use Jay Wright as an example. That's who I wanted a year and a half ago. Jay Wright ran an NBA-style offense in college, which is rare. And he had one of the more dominant seasons in 2018 with that Villanova team. He won 2 national titles in his time with Villanova. Mostly, 2 of them were recent as well. And you have a guy that obviously has the demeanor. Okay, if you don't believe me, watch the last second shot against North Carolina, and you'll see what a badass looks like. Sean, I have to keep saying this over and over again. Jay Wright is the Nick Saban of college basketball in the last 10 years. I like the physical demeanor, looking good. It says something. It's like when someone walks into a room that you've never seen before, when their head is up and they're walking upright and they have a nice suit on or they have a nice clean
100%, Joe. I mean,
you're telling me that doesn't dominate a room? If you don't believe me, come with me to a job and I'll show you how it works and how it happens. When someone is sitting like this, how does that look, guys? Does that look good?
No,
I think we should all do it. Magic Man, let's get up and let's do this.
It's solidarity. Yeah.
You know when I do this? You know when I'm doing this? You know when I'm doing this? When I'm waiting outside at a restaurant to get in. This is what I'm doing. Okay? You do this when you're waiting for the next person to get to the cashier. You've already put your groceries on the little belt, and you're just sitting there waiting for the lady with the 17 coupons and the one that decided to write a goddamn check, right? The only goddamn person on the planet that's still writing checks, and you're just standing there for 10 minutes. You have 1 gallon of milk, and maybe a couple of cookies. Yet this lady who's buying 5 goddamn items, and she's writing a freaking check. This is what I'm doing when that's going on. There you go. Okay. Now. Okay.
Be sure to tip your waitress.
So it's there.
I needed that, Joe. Thank you.
There's going to be some decisions that are going to have to be made in the next 2 weeks, especially if the Lakers go on an extensive losing streak, which is
I think we should continue to do that, Joe.
Every night, yes.
Yes, every night.
Until they win a game, we're going to get up and have our hands in our pockets.
Yes. You know what? I'm just going to say this. Aussie is in our chat, and he's like, first impressions. I'm like, what if it is someone's first impression? They turn on us for the first time, and they see 3 guys just standing up with their hands in their pockets. Well, what kind of show is this, man? What's up with that?
That's why you need to tune in, because anything can happen on the LFB.
Yes, absolutely. But Joe, finish up, my friend. Finish up. My apologies.
The dawn is coming, it seems. So I'm curious now in a soap opera like drama on what the Laker brass are going to do if they actually hit the iceberg, which is probably a week from now. A week from now, if they get smoked by Minnesota tomorrow, they lose to Oklahoma City, and then they get smoked on national television, worldwide national television.
Yeah, if you get stripped on Christmas Day,
you are now going to have that. Oh crap! Darvin's lost the locker room. He's done. What the hell do we do now?
If they lose the second time around in Minnesota, because remember, they've got 2, not 1, but 2 games on the road in Minnesota before the end of the year, Joe. I think
it's not good. We needed the Lakers to be playing good ball until the magic month of February, when they're not leaving the Pacific time zone. But we're going to be going into that month. It looks like if they continue to play like this, in bad shape, and it's not going to. The Lakers are going to start looking at playing again for the play-in, which is just depressing, really depressing, because I thought they got out of that. I thought they didn't have to do that. And of course, the teams that were struggling at the beginning of the year now are starting to play well. Now they're starting to gel. And those teams now are going to start sneaking up ahead of you. And
they just came up with another excuse tonight, Joe. It was Darvin Ham and Austin Reeves. Now it's we haven't practiced enough.
see, and I've been hearing that shit. I've been hearing that garbage for how long?
It's a full unit.
What, you're the only team? Practice then. Practice. What are you doing then? We haven't practiced. Well, then practice. What are you waiting for? You're the head coach. You set the program. What are you doing? You obviously have people that are still playing. AD has only missed one game, right? Or two. LeBron, same thing. Like, what are you doing? Then practice. Teach these guys how to play. What are you waiting for? Jesus, I mean, seriously, how stupid of a comment is that? That just doesn't make any sense. So because you're not practicing, your guys are not running their sets, and with any energy, they're not going after offensive. You need to practice to go after rebounds. What? These guys are not professional athletes at the top of their game. Some of them. You're not talking about guys that are in their mid-30s. A lot of these guys are in their 20s. So what are you talking about? These guys are supposed to be the most athletic players next to soccer players on the planet. What the hell does that even mean? He's an excuse machine. I'm not going to just say Darvin Ham. This is the mentality of a lot of people in general in life. Excuse machines. A good excuse is still an excuse. It's still an excuse. So what are we going to do? I'm paying how much a month for my satellite to watch this trash? Well, I'm going to go by, they're not practicing enough. Well, what are you paying these guys millions of dollars for? To sit on their thumbs? What are they, sitting in their hotel room playing video games all day?
I think AD does.
I can't, guys. You told me what he said. I already know. I already know what's coming. That's why I turned the TV off. I used to watch the post game with Sportsnet almost after every game. I don't do it anymore. I can't listen to these freaking jackasses anymore talk. They all talk, and then every single game, it's yeah, taking a picture with everybody, after getting smoked, Are these guys? Look, why? If they don't care, why do we care? Why should we care? We've asked that question before. We got better things to do, don't we?
We sure do.
Z, he needs to stay on the outside. He needs to shoot threes. If Rui is put out as far as, we've seen it. A small sample size early in the season, he was shooting 42, 43% from three, by all means. But giving him the chance to go ahead and drive to the basket. Magic Man, I was hoping I know you grabbed the from the other day from Clean the Glass on how effective Rui was going to the basket as far as at the rim.
I'll grab that, Joe.
Yeah, if you can. I think that will tell you the story exactly where he is and what he can and cannot do. And then, of course, everybody has seen Cam, the Euro before the Euro step, as what was said in our playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Joe, you just cannot get 5. Well, in this case, okay, he got us 13, so that's well above his average. But 13 points today from your shooting guard, you need more. You need more output from these guys, from the supporting cast. You need them to – D'Lo needs to give you more than just 2 points. 2 points for a guy that's supposed to be playing for free agency, Joe.
Yeah, it's not working, folks. It's not working. Unfortunately, D'Angelo Russell has regressed, and he's just not going to be the guy. I don't know what package they can put together between now and February, but I would take anything right now for D'Angelo. He's not going to do anything for this team at this point. I'm not seeing it. As far as Rui Hachimura, the way to make him blossom is probably having a competent coach that can put him in the best position possible.
Because again, credit to him. Both Rui and Cam have improved a lot going to the rim, even though, as Gerald has said, Rui's touch is like literally touch and go. He's shooting 72% at the rim. So that's Gerald, that's better than Prince is shooting at the rim.
Oh, that's better than yeah.
And
No,
here's
why tonight he just how many times does he get his shot blocked at the rim though? We've
and,
seen it.
and here's
Yeah.
the thing, guys. You guys also have to understand.
Just-
A lot of these guys have great lives.
Rui's great on the move going to the rim. I'll say that, Gerald. Stand still, asking him to get vertical underneath, bad idea. I agree. But on the move, he showcases his strength and athleticism.
I've
Go
seen
ahead,
him get
Joe.
blocked several times this season already.
Just so that we understand the main issue here. Okay, guys, I want you guys to really pay attention to this because it's very important. You have 2 point guards on this roster that were supposed to play 48 minutes together, correct? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So your starting point guard and your backup point guard scored 5 points tonight. And this is the norm. Gabe Vincent has been scoring 0 points all year because he's been injured. And D'Angelo scoring 15, 20 points once a week, maybe if we're lucky. And then the other games, he's an absolute disaster. We are in a shooting guard, point guard dominant league. That position needs to be serviceable at least. And we don't have not even the one or the two doing that. Austin Reeves is not a point guard. LeBron can be a point guard, but he's really not a point guard. He's a point forward. So the Lakers have no front guard player that can dictate pace, dictate an offense, or at least keep a defense from committing too much over here or over there due to their shooting, due to their effectiveness. They don't have that. How are you going to have that in today's NBA? How are you not going to have that? It's impossible. How there's no way they're going to win. So the Lakers, Rob Pelinka has. You're going to start not seeing Rob Pelinka again, folks, because he's going to have to be in a room somewhere figuring out how he's going to take care of this coaching issue. And on top of that, how the hell is he going to get a third player on this team that can be consistent every single game?
You need a third scorer that scores 20 to 35 average a night.
And without decimate,
and you need sorry, Joe, and you need somebody who could play without LeBron AD on the floor for about 3 to 4 minutes in the offense, not go into the freeze.
805 says Reeves, AD, LBJ, and Reeves are the only ones untradeable. Reeves is untradeable. Is that really? I mean, we complained so much about him handling the ball, Magic Man. Now he is scoring much better coming off the bench. I will give him that. But is he truly untradeable with his defensive and playmaking issues? Is he truly untradeable?
In that sense of the question, Gerald, no. I will
Because
say
what the
that,
team asks him to do, he cannot do fully. He can score. He shoots. He's been shooting better, but his defense is still an issue, and his playmaking is still an issue. You saw him; he couldn't even complete simple passes from the top of the key today.
he's a combo guard with a slight facilitating touch, Gerald.
And getting the ball sometimes over half court is an issue if you lay pressure on him.
Yes. So that in that sense, is he more is he more of an asset than D'Angelo Russell is for the Lakers, Gerald? Like if
Well,
you
at
had
this
to
point in
pick
time,
between the
yeah,
two of them,
yeah,
of course. So
yes,
yeah. So
but he's not untradeable. I would not list him as
no, I
untradeable.
agree with that. But in that sense, I agree with my friend. I think that's what he was what he meant. Is
I'm
that
hoping that's what 805
no,
meant.
well, in the sense of the fact that those three need the right
But the
guy.
thing
And
is,
look, Gerald, it's finally come to a head. We There are certain traits that D'Lo is very good at, but one thing he is not good at is playing on the floor with LeBron James consistently because they both need the ball in their hands. And D'Lo has serious issues getting around screens and just getting himself open. His lateral quickness is not there, Gerald. So he is a different space and pace shooter than say somebody like Kyle Korver or Ray Allen. They could move like nobody else. Same with Steph Curry. They could run every route in the tree on the basketball court. D'Lo needs a requisite amount of space and definitely a requisite amount of time to make those shots. And him and LeBron don't mesh together well, Gerald. I know a lot of people have been trying to force this round peg into this square hole, but it's not going to fit. They don't mesh well together.
I see all these names, these same names: Magic Man, DeRozan, Levine. They're 12 and 17 in Chicago, and they played their best 2 games of the year without Levine. What does that tell you? I mean, the Minnesota Timberwolves last year played better without D'Lo on the floor. The thing is, though, when it comes to trades, Magic Man, these GMs are not going to ask for D'Angelo Russell, Joe. They're not going to ask for D'Angelo Russell. Guess who they're going to ask for? They're going to ask for the guy, even though he's a little bit shaky off the dribble, a little bit shaky as a playmaker, a little bit shaky on the defensive end, but he can score for you, and that's Austin Reeves. They're going to ask for him if you want that big third scorer. They're not going to ask for D'Angelo Russell or maybe put him as the key to a deal. They're going to ask for Austin Reeves first and foremost, Joe.
The Lakers have bigger issues with the next trade because they're going to have to make a decision on whether they're going to go over the cap that they don't want to go over, the second apron. If they want any shot at getting somebody of any relevance, it's likely going to have to be some kind of a big contract that a team wants to get rid of, because I don't think a disgruntled player will materialize between now and February. So it's going to have to be a large contract, something similar to a Zach LaVine, although I think Zach is making a little bit too much money for them to go after that, and I understand that, especially with his injury history. But there might be a player out there where they're going to have to eat a big salary, and then the incentive is so that they don't have to get rid of too much draft capital. Then at
Free
that
Smoke
point,
wants Jeremy Grant. That's a big salary.
That's a huge
that's too
salary.
big. Jeremy Grant there's no shot there.
Look, and I don't think he's going to keep up his 40% clip from deep, Gerald. I don't think he's going to be able to keep that up.
And this fallacy that 40% makes a difference. I believe Torian Prince, the last 9 games, shot 45% from 3.
54, but yeah, you got the numbers right, Joe.
Okay, good. So
shot 4 of 8 tonight.
We're not. We need to look at the statistics to a degree, but we also need to understand the circumstances. We need to stop looking at statistics. We need to start paying attention.
Yeah, Torian Prince isn't making threes that potentially put the Lakers up a bucket or up 5 or 6. That's what Joe's saying. Torian Prince is making threes that a deficit goes from 12 to 9 or 14 to 11.
Or
correct?
15 to 12.
Correct? Yes. I didn't mean to speak for you because you speak for yourself. Thought I'd add that in there.
There's a lot to be desired here. More than anything is Lakers win championships with timely plays. That's the recipe of greatness is when. Why was Derek Fisher so special for the Lakers? Because Derek Fisher got a lot of opponents, a lot of guards that he played against, big contracts. Troy Hudson.
Free Smoke still wants to spend 160 million on Jeremy Grant.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's not likely to happen, folks. Sorry. The Lakers made their bones with timely plays that devastated the opponent, plays that put a dagger in them or took them over the hump. And the Lakers don't have that player. I haven't really seen when the game gets close at the end, because of LeBron James's stubbornness in making the right play. I never feel comfortable at the end of games. It doesn't seem like they ever get that basket that just kind of like, okay, on a consistent basis. And I'm going to be monitoring this, obviously, with everyone here on what's going to happen here within the next week. The next week's going to say a lot about what direction the Lakers are likely going to have to go. And I say that Lakers, I'm meaning Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka is going to have to make some decisions very, very quickly here somewhere. Otherwise, he might lose this, because these last 3 games were really bad losses. And this is not a team hitting that spot in the schedule where they're like, oh, okay, they just had a bad patch. Well, unfortunately, they didn't have enough cushion to have that bad patch. If they were, let's say, if they were at 14-9, and let's say they went 14-9. Let's say they went 18-5. Let's say if they were 18-5 and then had a 3-game losing streak, we could probably swallow this a little bit more. But I was expecting the 3-game losing streak that's coming up now. We needed them to win these 3 games against a crappy team, against a mid-tier team, and against another crappy team. Now the Lakers turned 3 games into complete crap, garbage team of their own. And this very well could be a 6-game losing streak. And that 6th game in a row get absolutely embarrassed on national television. Now, the Lakers, no matter how crappy they play, tend to play up against the Celtics. So I don't think they'd get blown out. But then again, I don't know if the Lakers have quit at this point. They look like they quit today.
I'll tell you what, though, we're not quitting on you, even though the Lakers do lose, unfortunately, tonight. 124-108. Lakers are 15-13.
Instead of 3 French hens, Gerald, the Lakers are giving its fans 3 giant turds.
Lumps of coal in my stocking is what they're giving me right now. But what can you do? We're going to keep at it, though. We're going to keep here with you. It is the Lakers Fast Break. You know what? For all of our back and forth, you know what? I want to thank everyone, Darren, Z, everybody that took the time out of the day to go ahead and stop on by. We may not always agree on everything that's going on and everything that we see out there on the court, but we are very passionate about the Lakers, and we truly appreciate you sticking with us tonight. We had a great crowd tonight, so it is truly and immensely appreciated by all of us. That's something that does not go unnoticed by all of us here at the Lakers Fast Break. But tomorrow we're going to be at it again in Minnesota. Joe had to remind me it was actually tomorrow and not the day after. I'm like, oh, great.
Actually, that was me, Joe.
That was you? Joe. Yeah. Well, there you go. I got to give you the credit. I got to give you the credit. Joe. Yes. Okay. I got to give you the credit. I'll give Joe the credit for standing up and putting his hands in his pockets first. How about that on worldwide YouTube?
Yeah, we need that comic relief tonight.
Yes, absolutely. That's going to make for a great short. All 3 of us with our hands in our pockets. But once again, it is the late. Well, or should I use that or the practice one? When he went off on that practice rant, I'll have to decide.
Do more than one short.
Yeah, I might save one for later. Not back to back, but we'll see. Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Soro, Magic Man John Grice, and me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Truly appreciate it. They have stolen the Christmas magic. And again, we're all at each other's throats. So I want to apologize if I got a little bit heated. But yeah, you can't insult me, please, by calling me Trevor Lane. That's not fair. I think I'm a little bit better than Cardboard, Mr. Cardboard himself. So I'm trying to go ahead and entertain you as best we can. So I'm trying to put out a better effort than what he does on a daily basis. He just goes through the motions and yeah, LeBron did this, LeBron did that, yeah, and the Lakers lose. I was trying to give you a little bit more. We're trying to give you some personality. We're trying to give you a little bit of an edge that only we can bring Lakers Fast Break. But Magic Man, any thoughts as the Lakers head into Minnesota for tomorrow's game?
To quote Jay Sherman, the critic, Gerald, it stinks. The Lakers stink right now. The offense stinks. The defense stinks. The rebounding stinks. And the coaching, it stinks, Gerald, to high heaven.
No worries. It does. It does stink. But no worries, Darren. All is good. All is good. Joe, any last pocket thoughts before we head on out?
No, I think I've said everything I needed to say, and I'm going to watch the game anxiously tomorrow to see if these guys have any heart or if they turn into a bunch of cowardly lions.
Yeah, we'll see. It goes from the frying pan into the fire as the Lakers go into Minnesota to play against the best home team right now with the best home record in the NBA in the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we'll see what happens. But it is the Lakers. They did Minnesota played tonight, correct? Yeah, they did play tonight at least. So they're at least on a back-to-back as well because they lost in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens indeed. But we'll be back for the pregame tomorrow. And of course, the game itself, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. Please join us in the misery that we had tonight. Hopefully, it'll be more joyful tomorrow night. Keep the faith, everyone. We'll see what can happen. Who knows? Again, with so much on the line, with the Lakers quickly fading away in the Western Conference right here before Christmas, hopefully they can find some Christmas magic and get back and this thing back turned around real soon. So we'll see what happens. But it is the Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves tomorrow. Please join us for the pregame, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break, and the best post game that's around. Darren says I had some good Portuguese food that makes it feel. Oh, at least somebody had some good food tonight. There you go. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Actually, I had a sandwich from Bagel Mania down near as far as from my dinner, so that wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad at all. Recommended. Near the convention center here in Las Vegas, so not too shabby indeed. Once again, it is. Rodell says I wouldn't surprise me if it's 6 in a row. The basketball gods don't like you when you punt games.
And that's when it started. That's a good one, Rodell. That's when it started. They thought they were the first seed in the NBA. They had a 5-game lead, and they thought they could just
rest their 3 starters against the Spurs.
I'm telling you, every time they think they're hot stuff, this is what happens. This is what how losers play and think. The entitled losers. You haven't won squat. This team has not won anything. Darvin Ham, you've won nothing as a head coach. You have no position to punt anything. If you're saving up players again, and you can't blame Russell Westbrook this time, you're just too stubborn to understand that you suck. You suck at your job. And you should go be an assistant the rest of your career. You have no business being a head coach of an NBA team. And most don't. Most coaches in the NBA have no business being coaches in the NBA. They just don't know how to handle personalities. They know how to connect with today's player. You want to connect with today's player? Put them in a position of their strengths and see how fast they'll listen to you. If you can't do that, then you shouldn't be a head coach.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. The Lakers do lose 124-108. We'll be back tomorrow for more hijinks and fun. Will we show our solidarity again on tomorrow night's show where we all stand up with our hands in our pockets? We'll find out. You're wrong. They just hang a banner for winning an in-season tournament.
First of all, let me finish. Actually, I do have a comment on that because it's getting out of hand now. Folks, this was not the Lakers' decision, LeBron's decision, AD's decision to have an in-season tournament. You all do know that, right? Yes, I'm sure you do. How bad would it have looked if the Lakers did not do that for the NBA? They did that as an assist to the NBA. They probably didn't want to do that. But to validate the tournament, and by the way, the tournament was validated. There was 7 million people who watched that game, when normally a regular game is going to warrant a.
It was the highest rated before Christmas game in
There
6
you go.
years.
So don't tell me you're not interested when the numbers say you are. It's the same people that were crying and whining about, I'm never watching the NBA ever again. Oh my God. They put stuff on the court and the NFL. Oh my God. And then they had record-breaking Super Bowl numbers. You telling me you didn't watch the Super Bowl? You telling me you didn't watch the in-season tournament? You all did. Stop lying. Stop being full of crap. The banner is for the NBA to have validation. You already validated with your eyes. The banner validates the champion. The Lakers didn't create that tournament to feel better about themselves. We have 17 mother effing banners in there. Okay? Pick another team with that. Go pick the Indianapolis Colts that put a 2016 AFC.
No, Joe, it was the best thing to happen to the NBA that the Lakers won the in-season tournament. If a poverty franchise had won it and was unveiling a banner, it'd be the biggest laughing stock in all of sports.
What's a laughing stock is the banner that the Indianapolis Colts has when they made the AFC Championship game. AFC title finalists.
Runner-up. Yeah, finalists. Runner-up.
AFC title finalists. Yeah. Go make fun of that. Go make fun of
franchise.
Go make fun of that. There's a team that's been at Staples since 2000 that has less banners than Taylor Swift. Go laugh at that. Go laugh at the fact that that same team puts selfies up to cover our championships. That is making fun worthy, not a team that won a tournament that the NBA sanctioned. This isn't us. This isn't the Lakers that did it. The NBA did it. They did the research. They knew the hypocrites would still watch and then go on social media and go, yeah, we didn't mean anything. LeBron won another title. LeBron's won 4 titles. He doesn't have anything else to prove. He won 3 titles with 3 different teams. What is this? Oh, downgrading this. They didn't do it because of they want to put something up on the roof. They did it because they're trying to help the NBA make this relevant, which, according to the numbers in the first year, it was. So stop with the BS, okay? Because your BS ain't working. It ain't working on this one. And that's my final take on tonight's discussion. Good fight. Good night.
Sean?
And now for my final thought.
Be good to each other.
God bless you, Jerry Springer, wherever you are.
After watching a bunch of...
Rest in peace.
The KKK Olympics or the 1,300-pound guy who needs his load-bearing wall taken off because there was only a Gerald. He was the mayor of Cincinnati. So come on, let's be honest here.
Well, it was either him or Morton Downey. Morton Downey Jr. I thought was actually much.
I love him too.
Funnier. That was a funnier show. That was off the walls. But it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Magic Man Sean Grice, Joe Soro, myself, Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for watching, listening. We'll be back tomorrow for more punishment. Let's hope not. Let's hope the Lakers can actually surprise the world and shock us here and get a win. Let's hope so. But then again, Joe doesn't like me to say the word hope. Let's believe that they can win. Thanks so much again for watching. We'll be back tomorrow
Same
for the
word.
Let's put our hands in our pockets for 24 hours until tomorrow. How about that? Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. The Lakers will be on tomorrow, 6 p.m. I think it's the start time. So just to let everybody know, we'll be on beforehand with pregame. And then, of course, during the game, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. And then, of course, the best post game in town with our hands in our pockets right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.